Welcome to Mums at the Table. It's great to have you with us. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Shona.
And today we're sort of talking about the topic of change, aren't we? But before we sort of get into that, don't forget today, coming up on our show, we've got our dietitian Amanda with us, so she'll be talking all things nutrition. We've got Dr. Simone, who's our GP, answering any questions you've got around health, but then we're going to nut it down a little bit. We've got women's health as well with Dr. Wood. But let's get back to change, and I guess when it comes to children, there's a lot of change that they go through. So how do children change over time? How did your children change?
I remember one part of the kids' life when they were growing up and they were trying to develop their sense of humour, and you get all the knock-knock jokes or all these really bad dad jokes. And then as, like, now my boys are in their 20s and Gary's doing all the dad jokes and it's like, oh, Dad.
I love that bit. And they sort of don't actually get what a joke is, but they know they've got to say something right. It's beautiful. But yeah, then they move on to all those other developmental stages, and I think one of my favourite changes has been when my girls have gone to school and they've learnt to read.
Yes.
Like their life has the eyes have just opened.
Blossomed.
And I've loved that change. And then they're starting to read everything around you when you drive somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But I have not experienced the change into teenagers yet.
Oh, yeah, that's not
I think
fun.
there are moments where I go, that could be it. But yeah, that's a different ball game.
Puberty is not fun.
No.
It's hard work. But I think, you know, after navigating the waters of puberty, I looked back at it when the boys were moving out and I said to Gary, you know what, we did pretty well because the boys were pretty good. There wasn't anything too
I was going to say,
rough.
what was the hardest change during puberty and going through the
driving.
Not really puberty, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit later on. It's a boy, it's a bit later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole driving thing and, oh, what would you know? And then my driving instructor said, you know, just the attitude, I think.
I love...
Attitude.
How funny is it? Okay, it's probably not funny, but how funny is it that teenagers or kids getting to that age think they know everything and we know nothing?
Yeah, I know. I knew nothing.
I'm not going to know how to take them seriously. But
yeah, you just have to go, yes, dear.
Oh, look, I would love to hear some stories. There's got to be some great stories out there of kids going through change, you know, becoming toddlers from babies, all those things into teenagers and then adults. Help us, Jesus. We would love to hear from you. Jump onto our social media. You can hit us up at hello@mumsatthetable, or you can join our Facebook page.
Hey, I'm sitting with Dr. Simone talking about the negative impacts of backpacks on our children, like back to school, when they go to childcare. Some of these backpacks are huge.
They feel as though they're bigger than the child.
Well, they look like they are bigger than the child.
Absolutely.
So how can we see that, look, this backpack may be affecting our child?
Look, it's important to be size appropriate when you're firstly selecting a backpack for your child to go to preschool or kindergarten, those sorts of things. It should have the minimum amount of stuff in it. A little kid needs a little backpack. A lot of schools provide smaller backpacks for the infants' school, so the kindergarten or prep to grade 2. And then as kids get older, they tend to have more things that they need to transport, and so their backpacks get a bit bigger.
But what can you do if it's school uniform? So, I mean, is this something that as parents we need to address with the schools, or...?
So I think schools are getting a little bit more efficient as to what needs to get transported to and from school. A lot of things are being left at school. We're in a digital age where you don't need to have massive books and massive notebooks and lecture folders.
I remember going to
those
high
sorts
school,
of
you had your sports uniform, you had textbook after textbook for all the subjects that you were attending that day. So I guess some schools are still doing that.
But there is the capacity for more and more of that stuff to be contained on digital devices. Obviously, we want to be very mindful of the exposure of our children to digital devices.
And also, I guess, just be mindful of what you're putting in your child's backpack, their lunches.
Absolutely. So you want to make sure that they have enough food and water for the day. That's one of the essentials. But if you're getting to the point where you're either noticing that your child is stooped over or they're complaining about pain in their back, then there are some good things to have a little look at first. My first tip would be make sure that your child is carrying their backpack on both shoulders.
Right, not one strap.
Not one strap, both shoulders. Some backpacks also come with like a chest strap or a waist strap, and they can help to distribute the weight a little bit more evenly and minimise the strain on that back. If you notice that your child's backpack is always like if you're having trouble
Yes.
lifting it, then that's an indicator that your child may be having trouble lifting it.
Right.
So that may be, you know, send an email to the teacher, have a word with your teacher. Is there something that we can do to minimise the amount of toing and froing? Do you need all of those books to come home every day, or can we stagger them during the week?
Yep.
And if your child is noticing that if you notice that they're complaining about pain in their back or they are sore, check that the straps are supportive, check that they are still in good nick. Yeah. And if there are any concerns with that, then a good physiotherapist can help to provide some strategies in terms of different types of backpacks, and also some stretches and some exercises that can help to relieve that pain and to help strengthen the muscles that hold up the back as well.
Excellent. Great practical tips there. Thank you so much, Dr. Simone. I know that will help you when it comes to your child and their backpack. For more tips like this, keep it locked right here at Mums at the Table.
Foods for good digestion. That is our topic today with Amanda, our nutritionist and dietitian. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming and putting this beautiful spread on for us. So we are going to talk about foods that are good for digestion, and, you know, maybe you can share with us a little bit about what the best foods are for that.
Yeah, sure. And what we eat is really important to promote good digestion.
Absolutely.
So first of all, we need to eat lots of fibre.
Okay.
And fibre is great for digestion because it provides bulk and it also absorbs a lot of fluids. So it's good for preventing constipation. Also other issues such as diverticular disease, colon cancer as well that can...
So colon cancer is very prevalent. So fibre is a huge one for that.
Fibre is a big one for that. So to increase the amount of fibre in your diet, it's really simple. Have lots of fruit, veggies, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds.
So that's how you increase your fibre.
That's Just don't do it too quickly, otherwise you might have a bit of...
wind.
Yes.
Let's just be honest, you get wind, right? Because when I started doing the beans, that's what happened to me.
So just do it slowly, introduce it slowly.
Okay, so then your bacteria gets used to it.
Yeah, that's right. So the other thing that's really important is drink plenty of water. Water is so good for your digestive system. It is useful. It's needed for nutrient absorption, as well as fibre only works well with fluids. Yes. So again, you need water to prevent constipation as well.
That's awesome.
The next thing is to have some probiotics in your diet. So what are probiotics?
Yes, what are probiotics?
So, exactly. So probiotics are live bacteria that are naturally found in our guts, as well as in some foods and as well as in supplements too. So essentially what they do is they balance out the good and bad bacteria in our digestive systems.
Ones.
Yeah, we need good ones. And research has shown that it's got a lot of benefits for digestive health, immune system, and lots of other things too.
Okay.
So you can get probiotics in things like yogurt. Just look for one that has higher levels of probiotics, as well as in other sorts of fermented foods.
Fermented foods, yeah.
So things like fermented milk drinks, sauerkraut, that sort of thing.
all those fermented foods, yeah.
The next thing is prebiotics. So prebiotics is another type of fibre that's not digested by our bodies, and essentially prebiotics
for the probiotics.
Are the food for the probiotics. That's right.
So you want to feed your good gut bacteria.
You want to feed the good bacteria
to have a good digestive system.
That's right. And really, it's just in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and we've got a bit of a spread of some of the foods here that are higher in prebiotics.
That's a good one too. Garlic and onion. People don't even know that, but garlic and onion is a good prebiotic.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got enough information there for our good digestive health. Eat lots of garlic and don't worry about smelling. No, just kidding. But anyway, if you like these topics, please follow us on Facebook, like us, and follow us on YouTube and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming, Amanda. I really appreciate it. See you then.
Hey, thanks for joining us for a chat. I'm sitting with Dr. Wood and we're talking about how we can best prepare for labour. Now, we've reached to the end of our pregnancy. We're in that room. What's the action plan, or what should be the action plan for us?
Well, I think it's more about preparing before you get to the room.
Right.
And so a couple of things I think are really important to get your head around. Firstly, there's like emotional stuff and then there's physical stuff.
Okay.
So firstly, regarding emotional stuff, have a discussion with your support person, whether it's your partner or your mother. Maybe you don't want your partner there because he's not going to cope, or maybe you don't want your mum there, but you choose the right person. Have a support person and make sure it's the right person who you're not going to be stressing about.
Okay.
Secondly, have a discussion about things like if things don't quite go according to plan, because it's really important to remember labour is a natural event.
Okay.
You can't control it like you can control driving down your car down the street. It's a natural process, and majority of the time it goes really well. Sometimes it doesn't and needs extra help. So you need to talk about, what we're going to do if things don't quite go according to plan. Who are we going to get to advise us?
So have someone you can trust.
Yeah. So it's good to have a healthcare worker that you know to help you in those times.
Right.
Now, so that's kind of the physical stuff, the emotional stuff. Because labour is also, I hate to use this word, but it's a bit of a mind job. If you get your brain in the right place and you're in that sort of zone, then that tends to help things go better. And there are certain antenatal courses you can do that can help you get in that place of calm birth, hypnobirth. Those sort of ones are all very much getting you.
I think they're great courses.
They're great
when
courses.
when you're a first-time mum.
Yes, that's right. So that's that sort of mental preparation. Physically, what can you do to get ready for labour? Keeping yourself well hydrated in the few days beforehand, but not going crazy.
Right.
Maybe preparing by taking some snacks in that you like. They talk about sports drinks and maybe some like
because it's quite
glucose.
intense.
It's like running a marathon.
It is.
The
like
uterine muscle contracts so much; it's using up so much energy. It can be very physically demanding, and so having that energy replacement.
So should we be fit? Should we be physically fit?
Your body will do it whether you're fit or not.
Right.
The uterus is not a normal. It's not like the muscles in your legs. It's a different sort of muscle, but it still uses up energy in a different way, and so or in the same sort of way. So you need to have that energy available.
And I think it's so important to have that mental game.
Yep.
Have that game plan in your head that this is what's going to happen to my body. Yeah.
Some people are worried about having stitches after their birth.
Right.
Right. And there are things you can do about that to help.
Oh, okay.
You can do. And your healthcare professional beforehand can tell you there are some birth training devices that are out there to help stretch and prepare things and improve your pelvic floor muscles prior to birth, which is really helpful. You can do perineal massage.
Yes.
All of these things can be discussed with you from your healthcare professional before you, get into labour. And having that sort of process in, it's not something you do like 5 minutes before you're in labour. This is like a few weeks beforehand. You're having this discussion and doing these preparations. It's not I'm going to labour now. Gee, I better start thinking about it. That's what happens with your second birth. But with your first birth, it takes a little bit more preparation to really get your head in the right spot.
And I think we just need to be able to let go and let God. Just know that it's not my way or the highway.
Labour tends to be better if you can just let the process happen and not fight it and not try and control it.
Yeah, so important, especially when you're someone who likes to take control. Thanks so much, Dr. Wood, for those awesome tips, and I hope that's helped you. Don't forget you can keep it locked and subscribe to Mums at the Table. Subscribe to our channel for great tips like this and so much more.
Well, no doubt, when you became a parent, your parents were telling you what they did. But the reality is that parenting has changed over time and through the generations. So what are some of the things you think that the millennial generation does now that sort of wasn't done maybe in our parents' generation?
Well, I reckon one of the biggest things is that millennial parents are actually getting down on the ground and playing with their kids. Yeah.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I think that's actually quite a good thing.
Yep.
More connection. I've got a bit of a list here.
Oh, yeah, this list.
One of the things that's really changed is the paternity leave that's available to fathers to take now, I think, which is fantastic. We're moving forward in that.
Dads are changing nappies.
Yes, that's a great thing.
I don't remember my father ever doing, like even I remember giving him the grandchild and he went, no, there you go, Nana.
Another one is read that millennials sort of turn more to the internet for advice than from family and
Dr.
friends.
Google?
Well, I think, don't we all Google like Dr. Google now?
Yeah.
I think that sort of is a bit of a loss of connection, though. We sort of start losing some of those stories and experiences.
Another one I love reminding Gary about is that when you go to the supermarket now, you see a lot more men shopping, which, my father would never have gone to the supermarket.
And at play groups or coming to school to help
Swimming
out
classes.
at the canteen, all those sorts of things, The traditional family is not as common as it used to be. That's something that's really different as well. So I guess
it's very isolated. It's not the village type family anymore.
No, not as much.
It's more singular.
Yeah, and I feel like we're missing out there.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more organised play that I see, read about, know about, I guess, with parents. So they're sort of going to do a lot of activities in the afternoon. So we've got really full schedules for our kids. That's really different. My mum was always saying to me, they do so much. Let them have a break.
Let them rest.
Yes. Another one is we probably travel a bit more.
Oh,
Don't you
yes.
reckon?
Yeah, I think we do.
Not just sort of for holidays, but even, for work and that
Yep.
sort of thing.
School, I don't think kids necessarily just go to the school around the corner. We're more selective where we put
Yeah.
our children into school.
We are. I think there's so many things. We've probably missed a whole heap, and I would love to hear from everyone talk about the changes or some of the things that your parents might harp on to you about. We'd love to hear on our social media, or you can write to us, hello@mumsatThetable. That is it from us.
Yeah.
We're done and dusted.
We're done and dusted.
Got enough change ready to move forward?
I think so.
Okay, no worries. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.